In 2006, Jeff Monson went into what is arguably the biggest fight of his career. It was a UFC heavyweight title fight against champion Tim Sylvia. Which Jeff lost by unanimous decision and missed the opportunity to make history as the first UFC champion to become an MP. Monson was born in the town of St. Paul in Minnesota in 1971. Since his childhood, he became interested in wrestling and performed at various regional tournaments. Then jiu-jitsu appeared in his life, in which he excelled greatly after receiving a black belt. At one time, he was one of the best grapplers in the world, though not with the best striking technique. Looking at this big guy, you can't say that he's a child and family psychologist by training, but it is exactly so. Jeff graduated from the university and even worked for some time by profession, helping children and at the same time honing his skills. During his career, he won various jiu-jitsu championships and also twice became the champion of ADCC tournaments. For his first tournament win at 99, Jeff came in as an underdog, but he performed well in that tournament by beating 4 Brazilians to become champion. After winning this tournament, he was given the nickname the Snowman, as this white and bald guy was like a hurricane. A year later, Jeff returned to repeat his success, but in the final, he lost to the Brazilian master Ricardo Arona, who had never lost to anyone in grappling matches. After success in ADCC tournaments, Jeff decided to switch to Ultimate Fighting. Jeff spent his first fight outside the wrestling mat at the age of 26 in '97 and won it by decision. Then in March '98, he repeated his success in a fight against Cy Cross, whom, without too much straining, he managed to strangle. With a 5-2 record under his belt, Monson was invited to the UFC. Victory by decision, defeat by Chuck Liddell, and knockout by Rico Rodriguez put an end to his ambition, and the Snowman went all out and started fighting in organizations that even the most dedicated fans have no idea about. Having won 13 consecutive victories and becoming the champion of such organizations as CWFC, XFC, and Sport Fight, he got a second chance and was signed back to the UFC. It's hard to call Jeff's fights bright and interesting, since he usually acted according to the same scheme: transfer to the ground and then some kind of suffocation. Especially, he quite often used the north-south choke, which many people associate with our fighter, and he had 17 victories with this technique in his career. True, sometimes something else happened, such as a knockout from Jeff in a fight against Pat Stano.
He got caught in the ribs with a couple of knees.
Jeff's first opponent in the UFC was Brandon Lee Hinkle, who was stopped by Monson with his signature north-south choke. After that, he won 2 more fights and got the very title fight with which we began this story. Jeff lost this fight, and then he asked the UFC to release him from his contract, as he really wanted to fight Fedor Emelianenko in the tournament, but the tournament negotiations fell through. At the tournament, Monson faced off against Kazuyuki Fujita. In this fight, Jeff had to suffer to pull the Japanese to the ground, but when he succeeded, he switched to choke and finished Fujita in the 7th minute of the fight.
the prize that's at stake. The IFA World Heavyweight Championship belt being defended here tonight for the first time by Pedro the Rock.
Monson spent his next fight against Pedro Rizzo. Monson, in this fight, decided to show that he pumped his boxing well and went through almost the entire fight in a standing position. But Jeff's skills were not enough to pass the Brazilian knockout, and Monson was knocked out in the third round. Pedro defeated Monson twice in his career, but for the second time by decision. Beating Roy Nelson, Rico Rodriguez, and Mark Kerr, Jeff received an invitation to the Japanese organization Dream, where Sergei Karatanov became his rival. In this fight, Monson acted according to the old scheme, transferring to the ground and inflicting north-south chokes. 2 minutes of the fight, and Jeff celebrates the victory, which can be considered one of the main ones in his career. I also want to recall Monson's fight against Travis Fulton. If anyone does not know, Fulton has 319 official fights in his career.
Jeff the Snowman Monson, but Jeff is holding on legs again, and now he's on his back. Jeff the Snowman the arm was not meant to bend that way. Travis the Iron Man Fulton surviving.
Jeff finished Travis Kimura at the end of the first round.
And he taps. It is over.
And then with 4 more victories, he got the chance to enter the Strikeforce tournament. He fought against Daniel Cormier in the Reserve Grand Prix in the heavyweight, but he could not do anything about the growing prospect and lost to him by decision. At the same time, I want to say that he lost to the future champion since Cormier won the Grand Prix. Jeff also fought with both Emelianenko brothers. He lost to Fedor by decision, and Alexander became one of those who fell for Jeff's signature north-south choke. Since about 2013, Jeff's been fighting guys who don't even have a Wikipedia page, while doing it serially, losing 3 to 4 fights in a row, and then winning victories as well. In his penultimate fight in 2016, Jeff took a chance and came to Yekaterinburg to fight the Russian fighter Ivan Shtirkov. Initially, this fight was planned as a show one, as Jeff had a hand injury and he was not ready to fight for real. But during the battle, the situation got out of control a little, and Ivan began to beat our hero. And at the end of the round, he finished our hero via armbar. Having won another fight, Monson ended his career and had a total of 88 fights and won 61 with 38 submissions and only 3 by knockout. Jeff was a truly outstanding fighter, but in order to stay at the very top, this was not enough. It is worth adding that Jeff Monson is an anarchist and openly declares this. In 2009, even before he became Russian, he was accused of vandalism as he painted graffiti on the Capitol building. There is no war and no poverty, for which he was charged with 3 months of community service and a $22,000 fine. In 2018, Jeff received Russian citizenship and became a deputy of the city of Krasnogorsk. At the same time, he is an active figure and takes part in various talk shows and conducts seminars on grappling and jiu-jitsu. Friends, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to press the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as well as leave comments with the names of the fighters you'd like to see on our channel.